looks like it's saying something.
Yeah. One more step. Okay.
All right, cool. All right, thank you. We're going to formally begin our hearing today. Tape is rolling. Today's date is it the 8th?
16.
Oh, that's right. This is the... I was out of town. I just got back. I'm finally getting back up to speed. Today's date is April 16th. The year is 2026. My name is Jim Portner. I am the hearing officer for today's Flood Control District hearing. We've got just one case on the docket. Prior to coming on tape here, I did... Tracy, can you maybe mute yourself? Is that possible? Because we're getting background noise in here.
Yeah.
Thank you. We've got one case on the docket today. Before coming on tape, I did just give a brief overview as to how we kind of construct these hearings and what I try to achieve and the process by which we will do that in terms of getting me the information I need to make my formal recommendation. So I think the principles involved here are up to speed. The first thing I'd like us to do is swear ourselves in. If everybody please raise their right hand. Anyone who's going to speak. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes.
All right, thank you. And Tracy, I presume you said yes too, even though you muted. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the Pima County representative. Please introduce yourself to us and walk me through the particulars.
My name is April Maddox. I'm the compliance officer for the Pima County Regional Flood Control District. I work at the Flood Control Office at 201 North Stone on line 4.
Thank you very much. And joining you here today is?
Good morning. I'm Jake Kaplowitz, Deputy County Attorney with the County Attorney's Office, 32 North Stone.
Okay, thank you. Just in case you speak today as well. Okay, thanks, April. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've given you and Mr. San Martino the exhibits for discovery, and so I'll just kind of just go through these and explain the situation. So on page 2 is the initial notice of hearing that was set for March 19th of 2026. Page 3 and 4 are just proof that it was delivered, and a copy of the email on page 5. Page 6 is the notice of representation from Carl San Martino that he was going to represent the porters in for this violation for administrative hearing. Pages 6 and 8 are the request to postpone the hearing until April 16th. And then page 9 is the notice of hearing for today's hearing. Okay. Starting on page 11, we have proof of property ownership. Page 11, 12, and 13 are the quitclaim deeds for 2110 West 3 Kings. And then page 14 is the warranty deed for 2050 West 3 Kings. So those are the two properties that were cited in the notice of violation, both owned by the owners.
I presume you guys don't dispute that you do in fact own the property. Okay, that's a good start.
Okay, page 18 is the notice of violation that was issued on September 17th, 2025. In that notice of violation, we cited that there was a diversion without a permit. There in number 1, the respondent placed fill materials and asphalt along 3 Kings Road on the property and in the flow channels and has created a diversion that has the potential to create a hazard to life or property. Pima County Code 16.64010A makes it unlawful for any person to or entity to engage in development which will divert, retard, or obstruct the flow of waters in a watercourse if it creates a hazard to life or property without first securing written authorization from the district.
Okay, before we go any further, let's just clarify the date. You said September 17th, but it's dated October?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, that's October.
Cool.
So, Yeah, so in summary, the violation is that they paved the road and put in a bunch of fill materials, asphalt, concrete chunks, non-native materials, elevated the road surface without a permit, and have diverted flow within the regulatory floodplain. With the notice of violation, on page 21 of 69, there was an image that was provided with them identifying the area where the fill needed to be removed from the floodplain.
Okay, let me just study this a little bit. Okay, so what I'm seeing is just a segment of road that's obviously got some pavement material in there. It's the darker pavement, I take it?
Yeah, that's asphalt.
Right.
There's also concrete in there.
Right.
There's also construction debris, we'll call it, like concrete rubble, and other non-native fill material.
Okay. And from the south, I presume this is pointed north? I don't know.
Yes, this.
Okay, from the bottom of the photo, there's obviously drainage heading to the top of the photo.
Yeah.
And this basically creates, not a dam per se, but it's raised road bed, so that would obstruct the flow. Okay.
Correct, yeah. And this image doesn't show the regulatory floodplain.
Right.
But I do have those.
I presume we'll get to that.
Yep. So after the notice of violation was received, Mr. San Martino responded denying the allegations and requesting a hearing. That's page 23 and 24.
Okay.
Okay. So, starting on page 26.
Can I just briefly, just want to read through page 24 real
Certainly.
quickly. Okay, so he's correct that it's not FEMA designated and it's less than 500 CFS, but it doesn't recognize that anything over 100 CFS is in fact a regulatory flow, correct?
It is not FEMA designated flood hazard area. I do not know if it is less than 500
Right,
CFS.
right. But we do know it's over 100 and is a regulatory flow. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So, starting on page 26, there's aerial images showing where the regulatory floodplain is located.
There.
So this is the current floodplain, locally mapped floodplain. I believe 2050 is at the end of the blue line, and 22110 is got the house, and the two blue dots and the majority of the floodplain.
Okay, hold on. So I see Three Kings Road
Yes.
extends to the east
Yes.
through what is the pink mapped regulatory floodplain.
Yes.
Okay, so that is the designated 100, minimum 100 CFS limits, whatever the flow is. But that's the mapped regulatory floodplain. And what you're telling me is the property to the west of that has, looks like a riding ring, and is that equestrian improvements? I don't know, but it looks like some grading there in the house and all that. That's their property as well.
That is not their property.
That's not, so which one is their property then?
The one that's mostly floodplain.
Okay.
And the one just to the right.
To the east?
Yes.
Okay, those are the, okay.
Yes.
All right. All right, keep going.
Okay, so page 27 shows that regulatory floodplain was mapped in 2019 is when that floodplain was delineated, which is the current regulatory floodplain.
Okay.
Page 28 shows the shows that the entire area was mapped as regulatory sheet flooding back in 2007.
And that was part of the Leemore study, I take it? Because they'd mapped that whole area. That's not material. That's all right.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
I just wanted to show that even back in 2007, the entire area was regulatory.
Right.
And the regulatory wash line there has been regulatory since at least 1998 when that property was issued a floodplain use permit for a manufactured home.
Okay. I'm trying to pick it up in the legend and I don't see it. So there's on both, there's I don't know what color it is, magenta, light pink, whatever. Then there's a hashed within that.
It's not included in the legend.
Is it relevant at all to what that is?
It kind of is, yeah, because the hashed is flow corridor, which it has more restrictive regulatory requirements because that's where the flows are deeper and stronger typically.
Okay.
And the solid pink is
The 100-year floodplain.
regulatory floodplain.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so that was just establishing that it is floodplain. It's been floodplain regulatory for a long time. And Exhibit D are the site inspection photos. And so these are site inspection photos that I took. Pages 30 to 35 were taken on January 21st of 2025. So that was after the complaint came in and prior to issuing the first notice of opportunity to correct.
Can you orient me on the photo here? So on 30 of 69,
Yes.
I'm standing where on the west end of the paved segment, looking east, or am I on the east end of it looking west?
You kind of halfway, what goes to the right through the break in the gate is the regulatory wash line. So we're kind of facing northwest.
Where's the client? Where's the property owner's property? Is it to my right or is it off screen to the left?
It is to the right.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm on Three Kings, and the Three Kings Road is on the left-hand side of the image.
Right.
And I'm facing west.
You're facing west. So are we on the east end of their pavement or are we on the west end of their pavement?
We're in the middle.
Okay. All right.
Page 31 is just to the west of the driveway going to the house. So facing north onto their property. And this is showing the fill materials that have been dumped in the arroyos.
But this is on the north side of the road.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's an image of that's their property.
Okay.
Picture 32 is, again, that regulatory wash flows from right to left,
Right.
so from south to north through that gate, and I'm facing east down the paved part of Three Kings Road, and you can see at the end of the road there's a gate, and that gate is in between their two properties.
In between their two properties. All right.
So this picture 33 is showing the asphalt and fill material that has been pushed into the regulatory wash to the north side of Three Kings Road.
Okay, so this is further downstream from the road.
This is directly off the road on the north side of the road.
Right, but it's heading downstream. I'm looking downstream.
Yes,
All
that's
right.
correct.
And so I see the wash bed, or what appears to be the original wash bed, and there's this fill material. I mean, about how high of fill material are we talking about over the existing, or what was the prior, or the wash bed that's shown here?
Yeah.
3 feet, 2 feet, 1 feet?
8.
Okay,
8 feet?
all right.
Yeah, the down cutting,
Let's just say more than 5 or less than 5, and you're saying it's more than 5.
well more than 5.
Okay.
Yes. So again, here, page 34, facing northwest, just showing, again, more of that non-native fill material in the head cut of the arroyo on the property.
Okay, 35.
35 is on the south side.
Right.
Yep, facing east, and that's showing the erosion on the south side of the improved driveway there, the asphalt and fill material that's been placed
Okay.
on Three Kings.
So the flow comes from the right.
Correct.
When it hits this, does it concentrate and flow westward along that bank and then outlet somewhere, or
Yeah,
what is it?
so the flow comes from the south.
All right,
It hits this Three Kings, which is perpendicular to flow.
Right.
It gets diverted to the west. It's eroding there along the south side of that.
Right.
It's being diverted to the west and then pushing further and further west, which has caused the erosion to migrate closer and closer to the property owner to the west.
okay. And
Yeah.
eventually it breaks out and starts to head across the road again at its prior grade.
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right, 36.
Yeah, so starting on page 36 to 42 are my follow-up inspections prior to the administrative hearing. So those were February 18th of 2026. This is again one of the arroyos. I can't say for sure if that's the primary channel or not, but with the fill material in it. So again, that's facing downstream.
Mm-hmm.
Just demonstrating that the material is still there. Page 37 is facing. I'm standing near the.
I can tell.
The gate.
I can see it across the street.
Okay, I'm facing west.
Right.
And then one of my coworkers is here for scale, standing in the erosion on the south
Right.
side of the road.
Right.
Just another photo, just back a little bit further of the south side of the road where the water is being diverted and then eroding.
Okay.
This one here on 39, it's a little hard to see in this image, but so this is the gate that divides their two properties facing east, and then there's actually a pretty significant berm on the north side of Three Kings. It's hard to see in this image.
Yeah. Let's just disregard this one. Go to the next one.
Number 40, facing east, showing that erosion along the south side of Three Kings. And then also in this image, you can see that the ground is wet, and there was some, because there was ponding there.
Right.
Yep. So that, 41 is just showing where the flow comes from the south and then gets diverted to the west, just on the east side of their gate. And then just another example of the same thing on picture 42.
Okay. Yep.
As far as what I want to present, that's pretty much it. There's some additional supporting documents starting on page 44. So those 44 to 47 just show kind of a time series of a large pile of fill material on their property. and then the fill material goes away, and that's
I see the pavement.
about when
Okay.
the asphalt shows up.
Right, okay.
Yep.
Okay, let me look at this permit application. That's way back.
Yeah, so page 49, or I'm sorry, 48, is a floodplain use permit that was issued in 1998. That was an access covenants only, that was an access covenants permit, meaning they signed, the property owner at the time signed access covenants, acknowledging that they were going to build their house before having all-weather access to the property.
Okay.
Also on that permit, on the site plan, it states that natural drainage not to be disturbed and that the driveway is not to be improved without a floodplain use permit.
Okay. All right, so going through the complaints, case history, 1106 was when the initial complaint came in.
Yep.
Okay. 1106, 2024 for the record.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just read a bit. Okay, so there's been some notices, opportunities to correct. Okay.
That's right. We went through the standard procedure.
Right. Before it got to a actual notice of violation.
Correct. They were given 2 notices of opportunity to correct.
All right, all this technical policy I don't need. Okay. All right. I might refer back to that. The only question I was going to ask you, this is pretty thorough, thank you very much. The only question I was going to ask you was to give me a little sense of the case history, but your last set of attachments there allowed me to walk through that and get what I wanted. So, okay, so no more questions at this time. I may come back to you. Sir, name and address for the record. Tell me your position here and let's proceed.
Sure. My name is Carl Sanmartino. My office is at 177 North Church Avenue. I'm a lawyer representing the respondents, the property owners, Catherine and Robert Porter. I had a couple of questions about the procedure here. I guess that it is the hearing officer's prerogative to question the witness for the county. Am I correct? Not mine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, then I'll have to arrange things a little bit here. But I have 3 witnesses to present today. I also have evidence for the hearing officer. This one's mine. Sorry about the size of the binder.
I was going to say that's impressive, but
Yeah, but
maybe a bit
that's all I have.
maybe a bit of overkill.
These are the exhibits that I have, but also I have the notice of violation and also just some relevant portions of the statute.
All right.
Okay, so my clients have been at their property since 2006. The work that they've done on this road predates any floodplain regulations that apply to the property. The hearing officer is correct that the only imposition of any regulations affecting the property is the imposition of the regulatory floodplain that is the Leamore Wash. That was imposed in 2009. My clients have been doing this work since that time, or since before that time. So the road is a proper non-conforming use. It was legal when it was put in. There was no regulatory floodplain at the time that it was put in. The regulatory floodplain only existed in 2019. The 2009 Leamore study did not even include a regulatory floodplain. The water course that is cited by the county in this case is at most a less than 500 CFS wash. And without defining where that water course is, expanding the violation 600 feet east all the way onto the driveway of their property and outside the channel banks of the actual wash is not something that is permissible based on the wording of the Pima County Floodplain Management Code. Also, and most importantly, there's a silver bullet in this case. This road is required for access, and the Floodplain Management Code requires and says a property owner shall maintain all-weather access. And the only time a permit is required for any sort of access to a piece of property is when that area of access that is a private road is 14,000 feet or greater. And this road is not. So there's no permit required here. The area that is, the work that was done before there was any floodplain regulation in this area. The area that is cited as regulatory floodplain or floodway fringe area, channel banks, however you want to describe the water course, doesn't include all the area that was disturbed. And as I said, we took a look at this with hydrologist Tracy Bogardis, and the contention and the requirement for this to be a violation is that there must be a increase in the hazard to life or property. And his report concludes that there is no such thing in this case. So
Okay.
I will go through that.
That's good basic introduction. Thank you. Now let's get through your materials.
Okay, great. So I think that I want to start with looking at what a water course is. Hold on, let's take
Are we really going to go there?
Yeah, we are.
To a point. So,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sure. Because the definition of a water course, that's the second page of the regulatory packet that I gave you, means any lake, river, stream, creek, wash, arroyo, or other body of water or channel having banks and a bed through which waters flow at least periodically. Water course includes the stream bed, channel banks, floodway fringe areas, and areas subject to sheet flooding. But in this notice of violation, the map here includes areas on the property up close on the driveway, down here away from the wash. At most, the wash area, as shown in Exhibit 4, Exhibit 3, I'm sorry, is right here on the extreme western end of the property. None of those other areas encompass the violation areas up close to the house.
So your
or-
contention, it's just the channel, it's just a defined channel ways.
It's just the defined channel.
That's what you're saying. So you're ignoring the part that says the area is subject to sheet flooding.
The area subject to sheet flow, that's not defined. That area must be defined, and that's the reason why I included sheet flooding areas right above that. Sheet flooding areas means the area which must be subjected to flooding with depths of 1 foot or less during the base flood, even though a clearly defined channel does not exist, and the path of the flooding is often unpredictable and indeterminate. Sheet flooding areas include FEMA designated shaded zone X, but that's Exhibit 2. This is not FEMA shaded anything. This is unshaded zone X.
Right.
There's no FEMA floodplain.
And
Or
nobody disputes that.
areas that the chief engineer, using the best available data, has determined are subject to sheet flooding during the base flood. There's no study saying that. There's a sheet from the internal Pima map guide that the county has presented, but there's no signed statement from the chief engineer. And floodplains have to be designated with a signed statement from the chief engineer. That's floodplain maps and boundaries 16.16.030A. The regulatory floodplains and floodways for Leadmore Wash shall be based upon firms, or where such maps are not available, the best available technical data and floodplain maps as prepared by the district or by an Arizona registered civil engineer and approved by the chief engineer. All we have is a map that shows a line in the area of the property. There's nothing that's been presented here that says anything was approved by the chief engineer with regards to where that sheet flow is.
Can I ask Tracy a question? Yeah, I can.
Tracy, are you still there? Tracy?
Yes, I'm still there. I was on mute.
Okay, sure. Mr. Porter wants to ask you a question.
Morning, Tracy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Glad to hear it.
Thank you for letting me do it remotely like this.
No problem. No problem. So we're trying to get down to the brass tacks here. So in your study, what level of study have you done? Have you done a full floodplain study? Have you done a HEC 1, HEC 2? What have you done?
First and foremost, I did the very first thing I did was geomorphic study. I took a look at all the aerial photos all the way back to 1936 to find out how the the characteristics of this particular wash
I can hear him. It's fine.
evolved over
I think so.
time, and took a look at the characteristics of when the road was actually installed and what the ramifications or the impact that had on relative to the geomorphic analysis
Okay.
on the aerial photos. I did a very rudimentary watershed analysis to kind of determine where the watersheds were, and I also did an evaluation of the Seymour Wash study that was presented, I believe, in 2019 or something like that.
Okay. Did you do any floodplain mapping of your own? Did you delineate a 100-year floodplain for this wash?
No, I did not.
Okay. Based upon everything you studied, do you believe it to be in a regulatory floodplain or not, based upon the standard criteria of anything more than 100 CFS in the 100-year event?
Based on the Seymour Wash study, there is approximately 222 CFS downstream of this location that contributes to this particular thread of POWEX that comes through there.
Okay. Do you have any?
222 CFS.
Do you have any sense of how far downstream you have that queue?
That is.
I mean, a long way.
Let me pull up that map real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
It is, if you take the parcel directly north of the, I believe it's, I don't have the address of that, sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm just very, very rough distance. I just want to know, is it relatively near, or are we talking 2 miles downstream? There's that 220
You're
some.
looking at the parcel, same size parcel,
Okay.
diagonal from the Porter's property.
Okay. Why don't you explain to me what's happening based on your analysis in terms of the diversion, the blockage by the roadway, stuff's going to the west, just in general, try to be, how can I say, try to be quantitative in explaining to me what's happening with the water that's coming from the south. Is any of it still getting over the roadway? Is all of it being diverted? I know that's based upon what level of storm we're talking about, but just try and describe the dynamic for me of what's happening with your, kind of a routine flow that's coming through the floodplain area and hitting that roadway.
Okay, in general, the PAG topo that's available is 2015, so it is not the most current topographic survey out there. And in my study of the Seymour Wash analysis, they used the PAG topo in order to generate their Fluid 2D modeling on this.
Okay.
So in general, what we're looking at based upon their study, we're looking at which included, by the way, the roadway that was already in existence. It shows that the water does overtop the road, and it actually enters into the threads downstream of the road as it comes from a slope, and the roadway distributes it into the corridors. There is a natural foul lag, a natural flow line that is located on the south property that approaches the spillway, the concrete spillway that was put in after 2000, probably about 2002, I think it was, based on the aerial photos. And all that is the major flow line of the wash. The water, the the threads to the east are ancillary threads. They are outer fringes, and they are basically the high flow.
Yeah, and Tracy, I'm not worried about those because based on the topo, things are going to go to the west, not the east. So,
That's pretty much correct.
right.
However, that thread on the west that we have the concrete rubble in, that particular location is a high flow 100-year.
Right.
100-year flow up there.
Right, okay. So the water that's being diverted, because not all of it gets over top, obviously. There's some amount that's being diverted. Don't expect you to know what the Q is on that, but it's a significant enough amount that it is going west of the defined, at least the GIS mapped floodplain. That water is going west of that area, right? Is it inundating or crossing the driveway entrance to that property to the west on the south side of the road?
No.
So it gets back into the main channel before it gets to that driveway?
Based upon the studies that I've looked at, yes.
Okay.
Based upon the topography and the DEM modeling that I prepared for 2015 there photos, it does not, it would not enter into that
Okay.
property to the west.
All right. Thanks. I don't have any more questions at this point. Can you just sit tight for us because I may have going forward?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Right. And Mr. Porter, I believe that the reason why that's true is because in the area where the actual wash channel is, and to be clear, this is not concrete and it is not asphalt. This is aggregate base that has been built up and compacted,
Right.
but it's not sealed in any way. So when water comes through there, it does have a chance to flow through naturally, but also it's a dip crossing. If you look at exhibit, let's see, 17, no, sorry. Exhibit 19, it's in the photos, so
Wait,
it's going to look like this.
Okay. How far back are we?
I should have put tabs on there, but I ran out of time. It's that one right there. Not that one, but the next one. 19? Right. Yeah, and in 19 we're looking 19 we're looking east. And so you can see where there's a break in the AB.
Right.
On the left side of this photo, which is north, those two fence posts,
Right.
there's nothing in between those two.
I got it.
That's directly where the water flows through. So there is no, and from south to north, so from right to left.
So, in this area of AB, kind of in the foreground, I mean, the extreme foreground, is that just dirt?
That's
and
just
then,
dirt.
Then I get to a little patch of AB,
Then you get to a patch of it.
and then there's the, okay.
And then
Right.
then there's the area where the water actually flows. Right. And so that area is significantly depressed. There's not an area where the water backs up there. And that's what I'm talking about, there being a problem with us calling all of this a water course. Because in reality, the water that my clients have been fighting since 2006 when they installed this all-weather access flows only in this area. And there's no impact of what they do on the two property owners that have complained because the Tovars, and going to Exhibit 1, it shows where the adjoining property owners are and where their access is.
21, did you say?
Exhibit 1. There's an aerial there that shows the adjacent property owners and my client.
This thing is cumbersome as hell.
Agreed. If you want one that's just stapled, I can do that too.
It might be better.
Sure. There you go.
I know binders are popular for this stuff, but this is better.
Yeah, Exhibit 1.
Okay.
So you see the Porter properties outlined in red.
Right.
They've got two pieces.
Right.
The Tovar property, their access is to the west.
Right.
And the King property's access is on the south side of the street.
Right.
And so there's no impact on that access way whatsoever. So My clients also, I think, would like to speak to what it is that they've done in the last 30 years or 20 years as they've owned their property. But the final thing that I want to point out with regards to the regulatory floodplain management statute or code section is, as I said, the most important section here is section 16.44- or .030. In all situations where private vehicular access crosses a regulatory floodplain, which the county is claiming this is, located between the points where the private access leaves a paved, publicly maintained roadway and the end of the private access, the owner of the property requiring the private vehicular access shall construct the access in such a manner that it is permanent and is over terrain that can be traversed by conventional motor vehicles during a base flood. And then the only permit requirement in that code section is 16.44.040, saying when the construction of a private vehicular access road is within a regulatory floodplain or sheet flooding area, which is the only other thing that the county is claiming this is, and disturbs more than 14,000 square feet, then a floodplain use permit and grading plan are required to assure that floodwaters are not diverted, retarded, or obstructed. But this is, if it's less than 14,000 square feet, no permit is required at all to construct and maintain private vehicular access that is required by the code. My client, Mr. Robert Porter, will explain what work he's done in this area.
Okay. First, though, yeah, you can come on up, but I still have questions for you guys, just following up on some of the claims and statements here. So, can you just respond? I know I'm just throwing this at you off the cuff, but do your best. Basically, the claim that it's a non-conforming use because all of the improvements predate the mapping of the floodplain. Can you just, on the record, give me the district's response and position on that?
Well, the channel itself was regulatory at a minimum in 1998 when the property owner at the time signed access covenants acknowledging that they did not have all-weather access and wanted to build their home there anyway.
So there was some level of floodplain mapping at that time, because all we're looking at now is the Lee Moore study, which I know is an update,
Right.
the most current.
Yeah.
But was there prior mapping at that time?
I'm not aware of any mapping at the 1998 date, but the entire area was mapped regulatory sheet flood by 2007.
Okay.
So 2007, the entire area was regulatory sheet flood.
Okay. And why don't you come on up, sir? You can move his binder.
My name is Robert Porter. Physical address 2110 West 3 Kings Road, Vail, Arizona 85641.
Thank you very much. I think you can tell from how this is proceeding so far, I'm really trying to just stay very factual here. No statements, that diverge from that. I need to stay to the facts of the case, and I think both parties have tried to do that very, very clearly. I'd ask you to help me in that same regard with whatever statements you want to make.
I'd like to make a couple of corrections. We actually built our house in 2004, and I've been maintaining that road since before that, actually. And the other thing is that Tracy mentioned the concrete. That is actually the area where we have the low flow going across the dip that was shown. So the concrete washed away, and so we brought asphalt in and asphalt millings and compacted them to have that flow go across there. We've had that area washed out, and we had to put warning devices, cones up, to keep people from, delivery trucks from driving into it. And so my view is I maintained the road, like I say, since 2004. I've bought a small tractor so that I could work on it every time we had the rains after, and wash it out. And so over those years, I collected the millings, and they were brought up on a photograph. I had those brought in and left on the property at 2050 West 3 Kings Road, and I used that from time to time to try to make resurface the road.
Sure.
My health was not that good anymore, so I needed to have something a little more permanent. So we brought in the millings, and all we did was roll them down. Had a roller come in and compact them so that they would be a little more stable. So there's no binding agent, is what you're saying. No binding agent at all.
Okay.
It's all just rolled in there. And it's,
Okay. So you started. I'm trying to get a sense of when the structure that's there now was put in place. What I'm getting from you is you started in 2007, maybe?
2004.
You started putting stuff down, and then you've been slowly adding to it over time? Is that what's been happening, and now it's risen to this level? Or did you go in one fell swoop sometime after 2004 and just do the road?
I would replace it. I would fill it in with native soil. At one point, I tried to use AB, bring it in and put it in there. But whatever I put in would wash away.
Okay.
And so this last time we brought the fill in as we had in the past, and to pretty much the same level. It might be a little higher than it was before because we went in after that concrete apron had washed away. We did the low water crossing there, so that any water coming down that road would not go any farther to the west, and it would spill onto our property. I did not want to impact anybody to the south, anybody to the west, and so the water that was going to cross our property still crosses our property and spills into the same wash, comes out in the same area on the northwest corner of our property.
Okay, so you didn't do this all in one fell swoop. How many different times would you say you've gone in there and added to it, built it up, repaired it? Are we talking 5 times, a dozen times?
I would say, so we've been doing it for over 20 years, so I
Right.
would say 60 times at least.
60.
Yes.
So you've been slowly chipping away at this, adding to it. Okay.
Well, the monsoons would come, wash it away.
I get it.
We wouldn't be able to get in or out, and so I had to get the tractor and put some fill in.
And the original complaint came in November of 2024. So and this was the neighbor to the south and just to the west, correct?
The neighbor directly to the west.
The neighbor on the north side of the road, but directly to the west.
Well, actually, yes, that neighbor and also the neighbor to the south.
They both complained?
Yes.
Okay. So it just got to a point where...
I'm not aware of that 2024. I don't recall.
Well, the complaint came into them, not to you.
Okay.
They didn't call you, they called them. All right? Okay. All right. Anything more? I mean, you're still available if I have questions and stuff, but again, add materially to my understanding here.
Mr. Porter, I just have one thing that I wanted to make sure was on the record. And Robert, the area that is shown here in the notice of violation, that is the roadway from west to east,
Yes.
about how long would you say that is in feet?
Well, it's an acre. So, I mean, it's 4 acres. 600 feet? I'm not
600 feet?
Maybe.
Okay,
I can-
but it's not a mile.
I can get
no.
that. I can get that from the scale
all
of the
right,
photo.
600. But and then you would say that if it's that 600 feet, say that it were 20 feet wide, how many square feet would that be?
Be 600 times 20, being 12.
12,000?
Are you trying to get to the 14,000 thing?
It's less
Okay.
than 14,000.
That's what I
right?
figured.
Mr.
Okay.
Robert.
All right.
Okay,
Right.
and just one other thing, Mr. Porter. Robert, we heard testimony from the county that there was fill in the wash directly north of the road that had been filled in up to 8 feet above the bed of the wash. Is that something that you've done? Is that correct?
That's not my view. I mean, the wash, we moved, the road was, when that concrete was there, that washed away last fall. And we have pictures somewhere with cones sitting in front of it to keep people from driving into the wash. That area, when we brought the asphalt the last time, we extended that back in to keep the erosion from taking the road. So that area, we moved it back about probably 15 feet or so, and then there's a drop off of about probably 4 foot. We put rubble at the base of the drop off to keep it from
Okay.
washing away.
Okay. The exact specifics of that, not all that relevant.
All right.
It's clear to me there's material that's been dumped in there. One way or another, it's in there.
But it hasn't been built up to 8 feet by solid.
4 feet, 8 feet.
And
Okay.
last thing.
That the last thing you said was the last thing, but go ahead.
Just with regards to summarizing, Mr. Regardis did provide a report that's providing the materials that we've given.
Tracy's report is in here?
His report
Good.
is in there.
Good.
And then.
I presume the county has that too?
Yeah, I gave a copy of all
Got
those
it.
to
Okay.
the county. So that's for the hearing officer to peruse at your leisure, but I believe that that's the evidence we wanted to present today.
I will, and just know when I do these, I don't just do it based upon what we all talked about here today. I will dig into everything that's been provided here and all of the arguments. So when it's all said and done, I feel like I have covered every which base before yielding my recommendation. I just have one question, I guess, procedurally from the district's point of view. We have this situation here, the way I'm understanding it, is that started out as one thing, added a little more to it, added a little more to it, added a little more to it, added a little more, added a little more. I mean, and then it gets to a point where it's a substantial structure when it's all said and done. If someone wanted to build something like this for the purposes of ensuring, all-weather access through the 100-year floodplain, crossing a wash like this that's designated, mapped, and all of that kind of stuff, they would have to go through a floodplain use permit process, I presume. Would the district consider, what would the district want to see out of something like that? Would they want to see a series of culverts, CMPs? But they would want to do an analysis, I presume, that shows there's no widening of the existing floodplain based upon the improvements. Is that accurate?
Yes. Yes, and those requirements are outlined in Tech Policy 27 about what's considered an improved or an unimproved at-grade crossing.
Okay, I don't, in my head, have the citations for your various So that Tech Policy, where am I going to find that?
It's the last set of documents.
In yours?
Documents, yeah. It was also provided to them at the, included with, for sure, the notice of opportunity to correct.
That's not the case. We didn't receive the technical policy.
So the technical, well, it's available online as well. Yeah.
Okay.
But it outlines the difference between an unimproved at-grade crossing does not require a permit. An improved at-grade crossing does require a permit and engineering.
Got it. Okay. Back to you, sir.
Yes.
So, what's your...
Make some comments?
Yeah, Tracy, I'll get to you. Hold on.
Okay, thank you.
What is your point of view here based upon all of this? Are you looking to just get a finding that says this citation has no merit and leave me alone, I think I haven't done anything wrong? Or are you in a position of being willing to make some modifications out there to address some of the technical policies and standards that the district typically enforces?
Well, I don't know how to answer that. All I know is when we...
I'm not looking for anything definitive or a commitment, a formal commitment to say I will do this. That's not what I'm looking for. Where's your head at? Are you willing to try and work through something here?
Well, of course I am. I mean, if whatever the finding is, I'll have to go with it.
Okay. All right. You wanted to say something brief?
Yes, Mr. Porter. I mean, we've discussed with the county the possibility of resolving this without having this hearing
Okay.
and a resolution, but we have just not had that.
Didn't get there.
communication.
Okay. All right. All right, Tracy.
Yes.
I had a couple questions, but you go first.
Okay. What I wanted to say is that this road, if the permit for the access to the mobile home came in 1998, the studies that I've been doing this for 30 years. The studies that were available at that time were studies that were generalized flood-prone areas, and that's probably. And I don't know for sure, but I think that's what this particular area was designated. Now, in 2000, that road existed. So 2 years after that permit was in place, in my report on the exhibit map that Carl had put together on page 66, it shows the road in 2000 as being framed out and formed out through there, and it also shows that you had the spillway at the low-flow crossing. It also shows what was considered as of today what the bellway was, and it shows the aerial photos aligning with that bellway as being the courses of the water as it goes through there. So this has been in place for a long period of time. In the absence of that roadway, over the years, what Mr. Porter was addressing is the erosion encroaching into that roadway and repairing those, and constantly going through and repairing those. What that roadway is acting as is right now is acting as a grade control structure. Those deep chasms that we see downstream from this road would have progressed across the road and
Agreed.
into the property to the south.
Agreed.
And leading that particular area to be an uninhabitable desert water course like what we have downstream. So this roadway is in effect acting as a positive effect for all the landowners that are around there. And the flow patterns have not been changed. The rubble that was placed, whether it looks like it's been there for quite a while, the rubble that was placed in the water course that we're calling fill is actually what I would call riprap to avert and prevent any headgutting and erosion that may come from the water overtopping the road and falling down a chasm like a waterfall, if you would. So
Understood.
So this is a positive. This roadway is really a positive thing for everybody all the way around there. All weather access and protecting properties.
I like that. Yeah, I'm sure your client's very happy with that conclusion. All right. My last question for you is, given the statement that the road is a net positive, as a hydrologist, is this the way you would recommend building this roadway across a regulatory floodplain with very well-defined channels on both the south and north side? Or would you recommend as a hydrologist that it would be a little bit better to maybe have some conveyance crossings, either pipes, culverts, whatever, beneath the raised roadway to best manage the flow?
Technical policy 27 came well after the roadway was installed. So the standard of procedure or standard of design when this was put in would have been more or less a crossing that would allow the water to continue to be conveyed across. We've got two different elevations through here, and in my opinion, if I were to come in there today and design something, I wouldn't rip everything out to bring that down to what was existing, simply because that would put the property on the strip side in jeopardy. I would leave the roadway as it is, and this is now basically the edge of the two different planes of of earth, basically, and it is matching the upstream and would protect the downstream is probably the standard that I would go through as of today if that were an existing condition.
All right. Thank you. I'm done. You there?
I'm done, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm done. No more questions.
All
All right.
Thank you.
It's been a long hearing, but I'm going to give each side just an opportunity to do just a very concise closing statement, and then we're going to wrap things up, and I'll thank you for coming. Sir, you first.
Thank you. Mr. Porter, I believe that whereas if you look at the facts of things going on there right now, maybe the hearing officer would think things should be done a little bit differently than they are out there. I think the actual legalities of the situation, were to make it that far, indicate that this is a structure that was taken into account when all of the floodplain mapping that was done by the county was done to create a regulatory floodplain. This is an access road that has at least been going to this property when there was a manufactured home out there in 1998. The earliest sheet flow mapping that we've heard today here is 2004. As Mr. Bogardus said, there's no evidence that this creates a hazard to life or property, whereas it may be an obstruction in a water course. The second part of that violation means that there has to be a risk to somebody. And what I haven't heard today in all the discussion of technical violations is that there is a risk. And if we're talking about a technical violation, then technically this access doesn't require a permit at all, because it is required by the code. If you're going to have a non-county maintained road, you must have all-weather access, and the only time you need a permit for that is if it's a mile-long road that's 20 feet wide, which this road is not. My clients have been doing this for years. There's been no damage to any other property. There's no contention that there's damage to any other property. And there's no evidence here or testimony that's been given that there's any increase in hazard. So I would ask for the hearing officer to find, despite the fact that, yes, this maybe could be designed a little bit better, the fact that there's a dip crossing in the area where the water flows is sufficient to allow what's been there for over 20 years to continue. Thank you.
Nicely done. April? Any comments you want to make or none?
Yeah, the initial complaint came in because the property owner is concerned about the erosion of those arroyos getting closer and closer and closer to her property, and she's concerned about losing her perimeter fence and some structures that she has at the edge of her property.
And this is the owner on the north side? you're
Yes.
saying? Okay.
Just to the west of
Right.
the mapped floodplain.
Right. Okay. Anything else?
Are you going to accept the recommendations? from
I was
the
going to do that after you, whatever. Further comments, I'm just giving an opportunity for back and forth here based upon what others are saying. So that's what this is. If nothing more there, then yes, by statute, the district gets the opportunity to give me a recommendation. It is a recommendation. I do with it whatever I want. But I always make sure that they get that recommendation on the record. And so now's the time for that.
Thank you. So I'd like to recommend that the property owners demonstrate to the district within 30 days that the obstruction flow and all unpermitted non-native materials placed in the regulatory floodplain have been removed and the area has been returned to an unimproved at-grade crossing as defined by the District Tech Policy 27.
Return to an at-grade road, basically.
An unimproved crossing.
Okay.
We'd like to impose a civil penalty of $3,750 with $750 due immediately and suspend the remaining $3,000 for 30 days pending compliance with the final decision and order.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, nicely done all the way around. Ma'am, I'm closing the hearing. I mean, I wish you'd raised your hand earlier. Yeah, I think he'll be able to. So thank you all for coming. Hearing's closed. I always issue these, I write them basically over the weekend, and I write them over the weekend. I'll issue it on Monday to the. I don't know procedurally how. I always send it to the district. The district is responsible for sending it to the owner, I believe.
Yeah, the chief engineer reviews the
They get the review.
recommendations. He issues the final decision on order, and then the district provides it to the property owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm the middle ground step, so you won't see what I recommend necessarily. And then the director will make their final decision based upon what they think is the appropriate way to go, and you will be notified accordingly. All right. Thank you for coming.